I'm going to invite us right now to just close your eyes for just a minute. Because the passage from the Bible that says, "Behold, I make all things new," to me is an invitation to remind us that life is ever evolving and ever unfolding. And I invited us to close our eyes because the vibration of the world, if we're in alignment with the fundamental goodness of this universe, we can feel it. We know it. And if not, it's time to reset our life, to be in vibration with the good that's always present. Now, some of us have just a little tweaking to do, and some of us have major overhauls. Some of us are very plugged into the wrong channel, and just be aware if you are. Now, open your eyes. No more sleeping. We can't put our life on hold. It's now we get to change. So our reset button is like a radio station. If you're set at the station that talks about the lack, the limitation, the not enoughness in the world, it's time to reset that button. And that's why we're here. The button that tells us the fundamental truths of life. Now we get there, we can plug into the fundamental truths, but it takes spiritual practice, daily spiritual practice, meditation, intention to keep us tuned up. So I'm going to tell you the station I want to plug into right now. And I invite you to join me. These come from the Science of Mind, both the textbook and from Essential Ernest Holmes. Religious science teaches that the universe is fundamentally good, which means that we believe in an abundant God, not a God that is lacking in anything. Now, let me just give you a little addendum to that. It doesn't mean life is comfortable all the time. How many of you get that? Life is messy, life is uncomfortable, it's unpredictable, it's chaotic, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's exciting, and it's you fill in the rest. It's all of that. It's every bit of that. But let me tell you what I know. I only know what I know, and I know that I don't know too, John. Thank you so much for that. But I know that every single experience in life, everything, is a messenger. You see, life isn't something we just arrive at. Oh, I'm here. And then you can get comfortable and forget it. It's something that we're always growing into in this evolving world. So we're here to grow and learn and become. So everything, in the chaos, there is the creativity that wants to be born. Right? And in the dysfunction, there's the divine idea that wants to be expressed. Right? We know that. And in all the messiness of life, there are the messages that teach us what we need to know to grow and become who we are meant to be. Because each and every one of us, not some of us, but every one of us is infused with a purpose that comes from this universal good. We all have a purpose that we are here to deliver to the world. The Essential Ernest says spirituality may be defined as an atmosphere of good. That's what we live in, this atmosphere of goodness. We can plug into it or not, it's our choice, but there's an atmosphere of good, the realization of God. We don't borrow our light from another. We express it from within. That's our responsibility, our opportunity to express the light that's already there. We just need understanding. Understanding. Mark Nepo, one of my favorite contemporary mystics, says, you know what I've learned? Life is just as difficult as it needs to be. Well, I'm not done yet, but that's funny. Just as difficult as it needs to be for me to remember that we need each other. We need each other. So it's just that difficult so we can remember, oh, that's right. I need to help, I need to receive. And the last one is the first principle is goodness. The first principle of life is goodness. It surrounds us as infinite possibility and expresses itself through us. That's the goodness I'm talking about tapping into in order for us to be who we're meant to be, who we're divinely orchestrated to be. We have to be in alignment with that infinite good. How many of you are completely there? I get it. I get it. Remember, it's a process. It's a growth. But we build obstacles to that goodness because, dang, somewhere on this journey of life, we've picked up these old limiting beliefs that we're not good enough, there isn't enough, that there's something fundamentally wrong with us, with life. And we plug into that station. And that's what we hear. Instead of remembering that with spiritual practice, with meditation, with discipline, with intention, we can change the channel to plug into something more at any time. Remember, life is continually being made new. Behold, I make all things new. Not sometimes, but always there's that potential and possibility. So we need to recognize that we have obstacles. And those obstacles are there for us to grow from and learn. Oh, I know a better truth now, so I'm going to do better. I know better, I'll do better. But put yourself in alignment with what really matters to me most right now. What matters to you most in this moment? When you really think about it from the inside out, not the outside in. This is an inside out. Remember, the goodness comes from the inside out. What is it that really matters to me most right now? And get in alignment with that. We're on this definite journey of awakening through these practices and understanding. And keep that world that works for everyone, the world that is one. Keep that as a vision and keep remembering what's working and what's not. Some of us get really tempted by being comfortable. Boy, there's silence. We want to be comfortable. Life is comfortable sometimes. And it's really uncomfortable sometimes. And if we're living comfortable all the time, then we're not living big enough. We're not doing our part. We have to be uncomfortable. We have to do the one thing that, I really don't want to do that. I don't feel it. No. We have to do that. We have to stretch and grow. You know, Ernest Holmes said, if you're really living in limited thinking, if you've plugged into the limited thinking channel, then you need to turn to the magnificence and the magnitude of the universe channel and stand outside and just look at the abundance of stars. And think of the ocean that's abundant with fish and the grains of sand on the beach. Look at this universe. Turn into the magnificence, magnitude of the universe channel and start thinking bigger and stretching yourself. Because we need to grow and become something more. Because as I said, there is that purpose in each of us that we are here to deliver that plugs into that fundamental goodness. It's why we're here. We all matter. We all make a difference. That's why we're here. And we have to recognize that purpose and understanding. And wow, how can I expand that and grow that, to share my light, to give my good? Now, if you look at the beautiful beings up here on our wall, each one of those beings had many, 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 many challenges and crises in their life that caused them to have a closer relationship with who they were really meant to be, to give their life purpose and meaning. Now, we don't have to live in that magnitude of suffering and difficulty or problems or challenges and that to make the difference, because we're all open to the awareness right now that we can do that greater good. I want to talk for a minute about Mother Teresa. Beautiful soul, born in 1910 and passed away in 1997, I believe. She was a beautiful being who found her call very, very early in life. I think she was 12 when she left her family home to go into the missionary work. She really felt the call at a young age that she was here to serve God. She knew she was here to end suffering in the world, and she knew it. And isn't that what religious science teaches? We want to end suffering through spiritual mind treatment, through spiritual practices, through teaching, through learning, for understanding, through community. We want to truly end the suffering, and so did Mother Teresa. And she started the missions of charity. And she was a Roman Catholic sister and missionary, and she opened these missions of charity that were out there in a convent doing her work, going out in the community and doing good. And she was making a difference, and she was working with the poor. She was working with the sick. She was helping people die. And in any tradition, she wasn't stuck on just the Catholicism. Whatever your religion or teaching was, she would make sure when you passed, you had prayers in your own teaching, because she wanted people to die knowing they mattered, that they made a difference. But she had a wake-up call within the call. She calls it the call within the call, and it was September 10th, 1946. And this is what she heard. I was to leave the convent and help the poor while living among them. To help the poor while living among them. It was an order. To fail would have been to break the faith. Well, let me tell you, she heard that call, and she wrote, I'm hearing the call. What am I supposed to do? I'm listening. Anyway, she went to live among the poor, and she wrote in her diary that that first year was absolutely wrought with difficulties and problems. She didn't have food or supplies. She had no money. She had to go begging to get just what these people needed, food and supplies to live. She said she was lonely. She was filled with doubt, depressed. She didn't know what she was doing. She felt it, but here's the answer she got. Because what Mother Teresa did is every single day, she opened in prayer, and her prayer began in absolute silence. Her definition of prayer is a lot what we say in religious science. She said, prayer is my oneness with God. And her prayer would allow her to be silent and make sure her heart was clean. She said, a clean heart allows me to see the love and goodness in everyone. If I have judgment or a lack of forgiveness in my heart, I'm too focused on that it keeps me from the good that I could see in someone else. So that was what she started every day. So she kept her communication clear, and this is what she heard. She heard that she was to learn and experience the pain and suffering of those she was serving. She was there. That was her mission, to really learn what they were experiencing, their pain and suffering, by living with them. And she went on to say, because we are humans, we want to touch, we want to see. And that is why poor people give us so much more than we give to them, because they give us the opportunity to love God in them. They give us that opportunity to love God in them. So she had a lot to teach in her focus and her discipline to do the work to get through those difficult times. So for you and me, our purpose doesn't have to be that big or great in that way, but we have a purpose to bring that same light in whatever it is, creative expression, creativity, whatever it is that you're here to do, writing, I don't know, whatever is yours is yours. I can't think of all those things right now, but it's yours and you know it. And we're here to deliver that and be that. But we have to remember that the delivery system of our purpose is probably the part that isn't so easy. Because we have to have focus and tenacity. Now, Mother Teresa's purpose was to love and be devoted to God, and that part she could do. The hard part is she had to put feet on her vision. She had to work to create the hospices that served HIV, AIDS patients, that served leprosy, that served tuberculosis. She had to put legs on making mobile medical units to go out and give medicine to the sick and the poor. She had to put legs on the schools and orphanages that she had for children that were poor and couldn't have it on their own. It was hard work. She had to fundraise. She had to do the things that would make her vision and her purpose manifest on this physical world, and that was the hard part. Do you get it? Do you get what I'm saying at all? That we have this purpose in us. We know what it is, but the hard part is getting it out there and giving it to the world. But I'll tell you, Remember, we live in this growing universe. And if we're listening, if we create that sacred time every day to listen, we will find out what our next step is. We don't have to see it all or do it all. It's what is the next perfect right step to bring this good that's me, this beauty that's me, this love that's me, this life that's me, this energy that's me into the world. What is the next right step? And ring the bell, knock, and it shall be answered. Ask, and it shall be given. We know we'll get that answer. We'll get it. Maybe not right then, but we've planted that seed in the fertile soil of divine mind. We will get the answer of simply the next right step. It may be as simple as smiling at someone you don't understand, someone you don't get or don't know, having a different viewpoint in this world. It can be very easy and small, but it unfolds because we're growing and learning. And if you're not listening, I'm just telling you, how many of you are good listeners? Oh, right. You think you're good listeners, but you're probably fair listeners. I think, I don't think any of us listen as well as we should. But anyway, if we're not listening, we're not learning. We're just not willing to learn from God if we're not listening in our spiritual practice, if we can't quiet that yappy little mind of ours. If we're not listening to others, we're not learning the gifts that people have to share. If we're not listening to our own heart and mind, there's so much. And I'm not talking about the chatter of the television. That's not really listening. That's just kind of numbing us sometimes. I'm talking about listening to the things that matter. And if we're not listening, we're not willing to learn. And if we're not learning, we're not willing to grow. And if we're not willing to grow, we're not going to be fulfilled in this lifetime. And that's our intention, one step at a time. So I'm going to tell you what Mother Teresa, that had so many stories in this beautiful book that I borrowed. And she believed that we're all one. And that's why she was able to do the work she did. And she said, if we are one, we must pray for the good of all. We can't pray for the good for the people we like and forget the rest. We need to pray for the good of all because we're in this world, in this experience, in this life together. She said, love is a one-way street. It always moves away from self in the direction of the other. Love is the ultimate gift of ourselves to others. When we stop giving, we stop loving. When we stop loving, we stop growing. And unless we grow, we will never attain personal fulfillment. We will never open out to receive the life of God. It is to love that we encounter our good, our God. She goes on to share a story that she said stuck with her whole life. She tells the story of a young, wealthy couple who came to her house and gave her lots of money. And she said, where did you get so much money? And they said, 2 days ago, we got married. But before our marriage, we decided we would not buy expensive wedding clothes. We would not have an elaborate feast. We wanted to give you the money. And Mother Teresa looked at them and she said, but how? In our Hindu tradition, that is not done. Why did you do this? And the couple answered, and she said she will never forget what they said. Mother, we love each other so much that we wanted to share the joy of loving with the people you serve. Please just open to that and close your eyes for a minute. And I will pose a question because, again, questioning is the way we learn. Questioning is the way we understand. Questioning is the way we expand our perceptions, expand our understanding, expand a greater vision in this world, and truly the way we can truly understand the things we don't know that cause us frustration, and we can, wow, there's something I'm missing. So ask today, just for this moment, how can I share my love more deeply today? How can I share my light in a purposeful way today. How can I open to more love, more beauty, more joy, more meaning in my life right now, today? How can I clean my heart that I may see the good, the light, the love, the godliness in others, especially those I don't understand? As Ernest Holmes said, the first step in spiritual awakening is to love everybody. Love everybody simply by knowing there's always more good than bad in people. Some are just plugged into the wrong station and can't change because they don't have the tools right now. Ernest Holmes said love is the most healing and drawing power on the planet. It is the reason we are here. If we are not loving, we are truly not living. So today is simply to know that we are made of goodness. We are made of love. We are beautiful beyond measure. How can I let my beauty shine? How can I love myself so much that I truly enjoy the time I spend with the person when I'm alone? How can I love me so much that I know that I uplift the groups, the people, the experiences I'm in? It's in this moment that all of us together, we've been called right here at this time. There'll never be this exact same group together again. And let us use this combined energy right now, this absolute vortex of goodness, of love, of spirituality, of beauty, of understanding, to pop open the collective consciousness of limitation and lack, to pop it open by simply knowing together that life is inherently good, that every situation and experience is here for us and not against us, that we are here to learn and grow, and the mistakes we make are all on the process of the cycle of learning and becoming who we are truly meant to be. There are no failures, only mistakes that guide us closer and closer to that channel of spiritual aliveness. May I simply know here in this moment that as we've collectively combined our consciousness, that a healing is taking place. Because as I said, love is the healing agent of this world. It is the deepest and strongest healing energy on this planet. So whatever needs healing in our own lives, whether it's our body, our mind, our spirit, our relationships, our finances, our health, whatever it might be in this moment, our creative expression, let us know together as we've opened this vortex of good that healing is happening now. Love is happening now. Light is happening now. Breathe it in. Feel it. Share it. Expand it. Whatever the experiences are, I invite each and every one of us to feel fully alive right now, to accept the beauty that we are and know without question that we make a difference. So if you happen right now to be in alignment with this truth that you are beautiful, you are amazing, you are talented, you have a purpose and mission here to deliver and share that comes from that universal good that life is. If you align with that and you release that to this infinite mind of good, the law that knows only to say yes, will you just seal this prayer with me by saying, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Together, I know, we make great change. Together we share the light of love. I appreciate each and every one of you. I see the beauty in you. And I say thank you, God, for each and every one of you. And so it is.